Welcome to another installment of Magic After Dark. We are joined by our co-host Nekusar. Nekusar, how you doing, man? You doing all right? Hey, did you hear that my wife and I had a baby? Isn't that great news? Wait, what did you say? You want to see the world burn one card draw at a time? Well, you know what? Me too, buddy. Let's do this. Welcome to Magic After Dark. As far as opening hand goes, we are keeping on this one. We've got Worn Powerstone, Signet, Ancient Tomb, Remand. Oh, yes, sign me up. So let's get this popped up. And we're playing against Anafenza, so let's have some fun. Let's lead off with Ancient Tomb and then Arcane Signet. That sounds pretty good. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, so Ancient Tomb, Arcane Signet, then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. We're playing Nekusar, the Mindrazer, the official co-host of Magic After Dark, with myself, Jolt. So, at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Then, whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekusar, the Mindrazer, deals 1 damage to that player. And Command Tower, which is good. We could leave up... a remand if we wanted to, and we could go for Dak Faden, but I kind of just want to get ahead on mana as quickly as possible. So let's do that. So let's go Worn Powerstone. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go for Dak Faden next turn. So it's going to be Worn Powerstone. Let's have Marsh Flats come down. That way we can grab one of our fetch lands and have some colored mana. And then anything else, pass it to our opponent. So we're playing against Anafenza. Whenever Anafenza attacks, put a +1 count on another target tap creature you control. If a non-token creature an opponent owns would die, or a creature card not on the battlefield would be put in an opponent's graveyard, exile that card instead. So, and also shout out to my Khans of Tarkir pre-release opponent who had a borderline playable Abzan deck at the pre-release game. I beat him with 5-color crazy, like 5-color charms, and he got so mad he had to go sit in his car. So anytime I see Anafenza, I think of him. So shout out to that guy. Let's go and crack He did what he did. He had to go. I beat him in like game 3, and I'm in his. You've probably heard this story before, but there's always new people on the channel, so that's why I always tell it. Let's grab ourselves Watery Grave. But yeah, you know, there was some really nice tempo plays on my part, and it was just 5-color jank, and I beat him. And at the end of game 3, that made him go 0-2 for the day, and he could not stand it. And he's like, "That's it, peace out. I've got to go." It just made me laugh that he had to go sit in the car. 1, 2, 3. So the 3 colors. I think at this point we just go Catacombs. We'll grab ourselves an Underground Sea, and let's just go for Dak Faden. That's going to allow us to kind of start getting some pretty nice card advantage going, which is always nice. I guess just to grab a black-red source, we'll grab Badlands. So let's go Dak Faden. It's going to be blue-red, and then we'll tap down on 2 mana from Worn Powerstone. That way we can go for the +1. Target player draws 2 cards. That will definitely be us, not our opponent. And Talisman. Actually, that does work out. So we need to discard 2 cards. We'll get rid of Wooded Foothills, and we'll get rid of Reef. All right, so we go 1, 2. Actually, we do it like this: 1, 2. And that still keeps up Remand. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we'll go Talisman. And then anything else, pass it over. Look at that, turn 3, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 mana. That's some Magic After Dark right there. And we'll see if our opponent's going to stick this one out. Hopefully they do. We'll get Nekusar down. We at least do have Remand. And Remand is nice. It's a really nice tempo play. But that's going to allow us to cash in some card advantage. And the good thing about us being in an early lock hold with Dak Faden is if they try to get an artifact down, we're already at that -2 option. We're going to be able to stop that. So let's go for a tempo play. We're going to go Remand. That's going to be 1, 2. Bounce that back to the hand. That's going to turn that into Mystical Tutor, which do we want to do that during our upkeep? We could Mystical Tutor for something, for another tutor, to grab protection for Nekusar. I think that works. Let's do that. So Mystical Tutor. So we Mystical Tutor for, I guess, Vampiric Tutor. That goes on top. We Vampiric Tutor for Lightning Greaves, because we need to get some protection. We'll grab Lightning Greaves. We go Dak Faden, target player. We'll make the okay, that's not going to work out just yet. So we make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Command Tower, and then I think we just pass the turn because we'd have to discard both of those cards. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. I guess we can still try to end up going for Nekusar. Yeah, let's just go for it. That's going to be black, red, and then black. Okay, we're gonna have Nekusar come down. If they've got counter, if they've got spot removal, so be it. I mean, we're in a pretty good position to recast Nekusar, so we'll just try to go ahead and get these triggers going at this point right now. So it's going to be an extra trigger. And oh yeah, as far as Nekusar goes, I'm dyslexic. I've never been diagnosed with it, but there's a reason why I call Nekusars, because I'll just get the U. There's a lot of times where if I pronounce something weird, I just get the vowels mixed up in my head, and so it's just, or sometimes I just fill in the blank with some just goofy stuff sometimes, and so but yeah, that's why I call him Nekusar, and I've called him that ever since before I even started the channel like 5 years ago, and so it's just a really hard habit to break, not calling him that. So if you're sitting there smashing your head against the keyboard while you're pronouncing it that way, hey, it is what it is. I'm That's kind of just what's happening. So, all right, so we've got Eternal Witness that our opponent did search up. It looks like we're going to be able to stop with this Vampiric Tutor, which is going to be nice to grab Lightning Greaves, because one of the main things that you want to do is protect Nekusar at all costs. That's pretty much what we're trying to go for. So, all right, we're going to get that Lightning Greaves, and then let's see what else. Ooh, and then Jace the Mind Sculptor. So let's go Lightning Greaves. It's going to be 1, 2. Let's get those on there and protected, because it's going to be very important. Let's get Lightning Greaves onto Nekusar. And then we can go Jace and Brainstorm. I think that'll work. So let's go swing it for 2, knock our opponent down to 25. And I'll be honest, Nekusar is not above getting in. He doesn't like to get his hands dirty that often, but if we've got a clear shot to swing it for 2, we will certainly do that. So we're going to swing it for 2, put them down to 25. And I think we just Jace. Yeah, I think we just Jace. I like that. That's still going to give us access to some extra mana. Then we can go for Dack Fayden next turn. So, all right, we're going to go Jace. We're going to go for the 0 ability, Brainstorm ability. Draw 3 cards, put 2 back on top of our library in any order. And that's going to be, ooh, then Megrim. So we're going to put Underground Sea, Boots back on top. Let's go Megrim. One of the ways that you win with this deck is by having something like Megrim on the battlefield. Because you can close the game out with card advantage from Nekusar, but do we actually want to Dack Fayden right now? Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to be able to Dack Fayden our opponent. That's going to be 2. That's basically going to equate to like 6 damage. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. All right, because we want to slowly grind this one out. Because like I said, if something ends up happening to Nekusar, then we can make this work. All right. Look at that. All right, they discard a couple cards. Let's go and always yield to Nekusar, and we're going to always yield to Megrim. So that'll be a pretty good feeling, and kind of go from there. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's one of the fun things about this is you're giving your opponent card advantage, which goes against everything that you're supposed to be doing in Magic. But what you want to do with the Nekusar deck is you want to get enough mana on the battlefield as quickly as possible that you can take advantage of that card advantage quicker than your opponent. So our opponent's in a bottleneck right now. They've got 4 mana. Potentially still 4 mana because they have no creatures on. Well, actually, Urborg will be out there, but we basically just have this Vivian Reed. Okay, we basically have this option to where it's hard for them to do anything. Now if they've got a lot of mana, it's really hard to kind of deal with anything like that. But there's just a lot of times to where you can, it's just fun trying to race your opponent to closing the game out. So at this point right now, we're looking for a wheel effect. They did go for Vivian Reed, which is pretty nice. And I think with Dack Fayden, yeah, used to with Nekusar, you could redirect that damage, but I don't think you can redirect it anymore. That was always a lot of fun. So we're going to draw an additional card. It's going to be Underground Sea. Let's go for Dack Fayden first. We're going to draw a couple cards because we need to find ourselves a wheel effect or Liliana's Caress. Phyrexian Metamorph. Snapcaster on Remand is actually pretty nice. So let's put Phyrexian Metamorph and then I think Swiftfoot Boots. Let's go for the Jace ability. We're going to draw 3 cards. Put an extra card back on top. Brainstorm, Fate Unraveler. Okay, we got a little bit of an extra option with Fate Unraveler. Since we have a ton of mana, we're going to put Underground Sea back. And let's put... I think we're actually okay with Hero's Downfall. Put Hero's Downfall back on top. Let's go Fate Unraveler. That's going to be black because we just really want to start chipping away at our opponent. One more. That's still going to give us access to Brainstorm on Hero's Downfall. All right, so we'll do that. All right, we're going to go Fate Unraveler. We'll have that come down. Let's go ahead and swing in at Vivian Reed. That way they don't get any few extra activations. So let's go and push in Nekusar at Vivian Reed. There we go. Swinging it for 2, that's going to get rid of her. And Yeah, that's still going to put them at 5 manas. Now, they do have Eternal Witness bringing something back, but we'll kind of see what's going to end up happening. And then anything else will pass the turn. So we got some good stuff. You know, if our opponent gets a creature down that we need to deal with, we do have Brainstorm on Hero's Downfall. If they go to cast another spell, we've got Snapcaster on Remand. So you can see how just like little tempo stuff like that makes a huge difference. And even though it is nice to close the game out with something like Megrim, there will be some times to where you can just slowly grind the game out with things like Fate Unraveler and having Nekusar on the battlefield at the exact same time. So and that's the other thing that, you know, cheap counter spells, stuff like Remand, Delay, Arcane Denial, that's really going to help you push your game plan. So let's see what they're casting at this point right now. And either way, this is going to be pretty good because we can at least sequence Stack Fade, and that's going to be 4 damage for next turn. And that's going to be 6. That puts them down to 7. And if we hit a wheel effect, that'll be pretty good. So, in fact, let's go ahead and go Snapcaster. That way there's just a little bit of extra damage on the battlefield. I think that'll be pretty good. So we're going to go Snapcaster on Remand. And I guess if a non-token creature... Actually, I guess we just go Vampiric Tutor. Now that I think about it. Yeah, let's just do that. So we're going to go Vampiric Tutor. Because they've got just one more land left. I'm not sure what they could do with Brush Land in another land. So we go Vampiric Tutor. That allows us to grab Wheel of Fortune, I think. And then that'll be 7. And then, yeah, that should be enough right there. So, all right, we're going to Snapcaster on Vampiric Tutor. Let's go and cast Vampiric Tutor for sure. Don't want to forget about that. We're going to cast it with Flashback. That's going to allow us to get this popped out. At this point, we are just looking for a wheel effect, and we will just grab Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. So, grab ourselves Wheel of Fortune. That's going to go on top of our library, and then we could Brainstorm, but we'll just go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. We'll see what else they've got down, but there's probably not going to be much. We're going to be able to grind this one out, which is a very nice feeling. So, there we go. Yeah, because between Fate Unraveler and Nekusar, that's going to be it. So, all right, run into Mana Confluence. Let's go Mana Confluence. Let's go Mystical Tutors. Excuse me, actually go Wheel of Fortune. And that's going to be red 1, 2. Everybody's going to discard everything, and that's going to be 14 damage, which should be exactly just enough mana, even if they've got 4 spike mana. Oh, look at that stack. That is just absolutely beautiful. Get these triggers on the stack. And there we go. Opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. So we've got Fate Unraveler for 7. And then we've got Nekusar for 7. We're going to be able to close the game out. So you can see where even if we don't have the Megrim effect or the Liliana's Caress effect where they discard a card and they lose some life, simply just doubling up on Nekusar and then going for a wheel effect, you know, turning a Wheel of Fortune from 7 to 14 damage is more than enough to close the game out sometimes. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we can keep on this. We got a little Brainstorm and a little Force of Will on Mission Briefing. I think that sounds pretty. And we're playing against Golos, so either way, we're going to keep on this one. But yes, welcome to Magic After Dark. Hope you're excited. It's been a very, very long time since we've been on the set of Magic After Dark, and it's a very good feeling to be here. I really enjoyed this deck. It's one of the first theme decks that I built for the channel. Not one of the first ones, but very, very early on. Do we want to crypt that? I think so. Yeah, I don't think we want to play. Yeah, let's go and go Force of Will, and we're going to exile Mission Briefing. We just don't really want them to get off to that wild of a start, and so we're kind of okay with that. And hopefully, if that disrupted any sort of game plan from them, I will certainly take that. So, stopping a turn 1 mana crypt is a-okay in my book, and you know, especially if they're rolling it out, they probably had something they wanted to do. So I will take that a little bit of sequencing. So let's go and lead off. Oh, that is going to be beautiful. So let's lead off with a Watery Grave. We're going to go and shock this one in. And just so our opponent's kind of on the fence about casting some spells, we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. That way with Brainstorm and that Scalding Tarn, that's going to work out really well. We can kind of shuffle that in next turn. So we'll leave Watery Grave up and see if our opponent wants to play around Stifle. And we'll go from, see if they're going to Vampiric Tutor. Okay, so we've got ourselves a fun little game. We're playing Nekusar, the Mindrazer, co-host of the show. At the beginning of each player's draw set, that player draws an additional card. Then whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekusar, the Mindrazer, deals 1 damage to that player. And yeah, they don't have to reveal it. No. All right, goes on top. Playing against Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. Whenever Golos enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put that card on the battlefield tap, then shuffle your library. If you're still keeping score at home, this could be a 2-mana Wooburg activation. Exile the top 3 cards of your library, and you may play them without paying their mana cost. So let's go for a Brainstorm really quick. Let's dig into our library. Memory Jar is nice. And so I think at this point, because we can go Arcane Signet, I'm actually kind of okay. Let's put Obnixilis on top, and we'll put Swamp on top. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. All right, so that's going to be Chromatic Lanes. They're not going to be able to stop that, and they probably ended up Vampiric Tutoring for Ancient Tomb, which I'm okay with. That's a good line of play for them to go for. Let's go Flooded Strand. That way we can shuffle up our library just a little bit, not draw into few in that Obnixilis. Let's grab ourselves a Volcanic Island. Let's go for Arcane Signet. That way we can try to keep up with some of this ramp mana. And then anything else, pass turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to the show sponsors for Magic After Dark. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you would like to attend the next taping of Nekusar's and I's Magic After Dark, head over to MTGOTraders. We like to take care of everybody here at the show, and we like to have fun. Also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt. If you do that, or you click that on the link description below, anything you get off the website will help support the channel, and at the same time, it'll help support treating yourself, which is a very nice option. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So you can get your name at the beginning or the end of the credits, or if you need to get your hands on some of these sweet tokens, I do a token drop of the month. That way you can kind of check that out. And if you're a patron, you're automatically entered into that giveaway. So there we go. Let's have some fun. Opponent's off to a pretty good start with Urborg and Coffers. I was hoping they were going to have a clunky start, but then I forgot Golos can grab whatever land you need. So there we go. All right, so Swiftfoot Boots, which is actually a pretty good draw. We'll have Scalding Tarn come down. So we've already run through Brainstorm. We'll just go ahead and have that come down. Let's go for Swiftfoot Boots. And then anything else, we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave up counter magic from our opponent. But luckily, and actually, yeah, we already did make the land drop for the turn. We'd like to get ourselves in a position where if we're going to be going for Nekusar, we want to be able to get the protection onto him as quickly as possible. So, and also, I know the correct pronunciation is Nekusar, but I'm dyslexic, or at least I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic. I have a lot of the common traits of somebody who's dyslexic. I get vowels mixed up a lot. And point in case, Nekusar, I'm getting the A and the U mixed up. But yeah, I've always called him Nekusar since the very beginning when I didn't even have a channel. So it is so insane. And that's the other thing. So it's like I'm dyslexic, and then there's sometimes where like once I get something stuck in my head, there's just no changing it. And I've called him Nekusar for so long that that's what it is. So hey, be in the club, be in the dyslexia club with me if you just start calling him Nekusar. Yeah, but yeah, it's just hard to break that habit. It just sounds goofy. All right, let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. And why I'm stubborn like that, I don't know, but keeping score at home, it is what it is. All right, so let's grab ourselves a Steam Vent. Since our opponent does have an Urborg, that's going to allow us to tap for black mana. Not going to pay 2 live, and they will be able to untap all of their lands with that Seedborn Muse. So, all right, so Dragon Skull Summit. I think at this point, what we probably want to do is go for Memory Jar. Yeah, I like this sequencing. So we go for Dragon Skull Summit that's going to enter the battlefield. We go Memory Jar because one of the important things that we can do with Memory Jar is we can actually next turn, we can go Memory Jar. Now, if we end up doing this and going for Nekusar, it's going to be a little clunky, but at least what we can do is make the land drop, go Nekusar, get Swiftfoot Boots onto Nekusar. Then we have the option to go for Memory Jar to at least kind of cash in a little bit of something from our opponent. You know, they are at 21. You know, with Nekusar, we get a wheel effect, we get Megrim down, we're good to go. You know, it's really going to kind of close the game out, you know, especially with their life total getting down low like that. So we'll keep our fingers crossed to kind of see what's going to happen, but it appears that we're probably playing against kind of like a Golgari Coffers deck with Golos. And that's kind of one of the cool things about Golos is that technically Golos is a 5-colored commander. But, you know, there's sometimes where if you just wanted to build a Golgari Coffers deck, hey, go for it. I've definitely thought about building Golos Mono Blue Devotion, or at least Golos Nykthos. That way you can kind of build whatever devotion deck you want, because basically Golos allows you to... that's a good chunk of mana right there. Now our opponent, and actually, yeah, they'll be able to, I was going to say they're going to be tapped out, but with Seedborn Muse, they're going to be able to untap their stuff, so I have to watch out for that. Got all Seedborn and Golos swinging in for 5. That will put us down to 20. So we might end up going for Memory Jar next turn. Well, just kind of see what's happening, so. All right, so we run into Homeward Path. I think at this point, Yeah, we just need to go for it. So we're going to go Nekusar. That's going to be, let's tap down for Grixis colors and tap down for black, then 1 and then 2. Tap down Arcane Signet. That way it kind of keeps us open. And we'll see if the Swiftfoot Boots is going to be good. All right, it does get on there. All right, so anything else, we're just going to go and pass turn to our opponent. They probably didn't have removal, because if I'm our opponent and they have removal, I mean, it looks like they're playing a fine-tuned commander deck. It's not something that's budget. If they had removal, they probably would have gone for it. So now, if we can make it to next turn with an open memory jar and Nekusar, we'll be in a very good position. So, all right, we're at least going to get 2 extra triggers on the stack. That's going to put them down to 17. And then we're looking at like memory jar for another 7. So that puts them down to 10, which is kind of nice. So we'll kind of see what's going to happen. So that would be a pretty good option for us. So we'll see what we can assemble. But yeah, that's one of the fun things about playing Nekusar is you just like, it's kind of like you have to beat you because you're giving your opponent card advantage, which is what you never want to do in Commander. But the fun thing is like you've got to beat them before they can take advantage of it. Now, here's the downside: they've got a Zendikar Resurgent out there. They're going to be able to generate a ton of mana, so we'll see what's going to happen. But that's that's the whole point of playing Nekusar. If you're timid of getting a commander like Nekusar out, take an extra turn after this one. Okay. Here's the downside. We just don't have really that much instant speed. We've already run through Force of Will. And I don't know if we can... We could potentially go Force of Negation. Yeah, let's give it a shot. So let's crack Memory Jar. I'd rather just go and do it now. We're going to crack Memory Jar because I'm afraid that if they keep this going, this is going to be pretty rough for us. So let's crack this Memory Jar. And, okay, I was hoping we'd hit a Force of Negation. Unfortunately, we did not. So let's go and always yield to that. At least we're going to be able to get in just a little bit of extra chunk of damage. So, and let's go and always yield to that. Yeah, if we hit a wheel deal, that would have been pretty good. Now, what we could have done is we could have waited for them to take an extra turn. I just really wanted to kind of, if we're getting in guaranteed damage now, they're going to be at 8. That's going to be 2 extra cards. So it does put them into this position to where they might not be able to and actually, we probably should have sequenced that just a little bit differently because we gave him a fresh grip with that 7 mana. So it might have been a little bit of a sequencing error on my part because we could have waited until the end of the turn. That would have been a little bit better. But hey, it is what it is. Can't go back in time now. So they will be able to take an extra turn. That's at least going to be 2. Yeah, because now they have that floating mana. We should have just waited till the second main phase. So, they're going to go for Scape Shift. Oh, man, that was... Toss that up as a punt. That was... pretty rough. So we're probably going to end up seeing Field of the Dead come down now. Maybe. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, we would have been able to dodge that Scape Shift, I guess, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. So discard their hand, and then we go back to Homeward Path, and then that. So that's going to be 2 more card draw with Nekusar. It's going to put them down to 6. So, I mean, if they go for these extra turn things, we might be able to close it out. So, yeah, that was definitely a sequencing error on my part. I mean, I'll just be perfectly honest with you. I haven't played Nekusar probably in like 6 months. And there's just little things like that sometimes it's just hard to keep track of mentally. You're like, I need to sequence at the end step. If I'm playing Nekusar a lot, I know to, make sure we do this at the end step. And at the same time, I'm just delivering commentary too. So you forget about little things like that. So, but let's see what they got going on. Might see an Exsanguinate because they tap down that Ancient Tomb pretty quick. So that's going to be Teferi, untap, up to 4 target permanents. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with this one. Okay, so they've got Teferi. Untap some permanents, but if they keep casting a creature spell off of Zendikar Resurgent, whenever they cast a creature spell, they have to draw a card and that's 1 damage. So I will see what their win condition is. I mean, if they cast 3 more creature spells, we've got it, and that'll be a good win for us. So we'll see what's in store for us. Okay, so that's going to be Maelstrom Wonder. That's going to be Grim Monolith off the Cascade. Let's see if there's another creature. That's going to be Scroll Rack. Okay. Which is definitely interesting. So that's going to put them down to 2, which I'm digging that. All right. They cash in an extra card draw. So we have a hasty Maelstrom Wanderer. Really, that's not that bad, I guess. I mean, they have some extra mana left over. They're going to be able to untap. But we just ship the turn back over, and that should be game. So we'll see what else they got going on. But this is also one of the fun things about playing Nekusar is that sometimes they... You know, you kind of put this weird like lock on your opponent, like, all right, good luck. Okay, so there's going to be Oh, here's a bummer. All right, so they're actually going to exile. So they're going to go Kozilek. They're going to exile Swiftfoot Boots and Arcane Signet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so if something does end up having a Nekusar, oh, do they have Path to Exile? Oh, so they're going to be able to stop it. And then creatures you control have haste. All right, so that's going to be 10. We tried. That's going to be 17. That's going to be game right there. Coming across. All right, so good game to our opponent. We tried to live the dream for a second. Maybe we get lucky with that memory jar. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for that. You know, memory jar activation in response to them having floating mana. Maybe it would have been different. Who knows? But either way, it's looking like this is a pretty stout Golos deck, and so we've definitely had a run for the money with this one. So, and if they're going to keep casting stuff, I might end up scooping it up because they've got lethal at this point right now. It's 17. Let's see what else they're going to be going for. 3 cards into the exile zone. Mary's Guile, Course of Portal. Yeah, I'm just going to go and scoop it up because they do have lethal, and so I don't mind people swinging in, but if you're going to keep going for Golos activations, then we'll just go and do that. So anyway, good game to our opponent. They're going to get it on this one. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.